Wasn't even ready there and it was going live. Hold on a minute. Ah! Sake. Right, I think we're on. Hello, baby gorillas. My hair is a mess. Trying to do about 10 things there at once. I hope that this is. Hope this is coming out to you okay. And let me just put this down a bit because I'm going to do a few on the bounce here. This started a wee bit quicker than anticipated. So, what we got today, Keir Starmer's finished. He's absolutely, he's fucked. He's absolutely done, isn't he? I mean, honestly, what a palaver. I thought Boris Johnson was incompetently bad. I've never seen a worse start to a premiership. A premiership. Stopped smoking again. Off at half the year, started smoking, stopped again. So I've not seen a worse start to the year than Keir Starmer, or worse start to a premiership or a prime ministership than Keir Starmer. I mean, what an absolute farce. I mean, oh geez, let me see if I can move this down just slightly here. What an absolute farce. That looks better. It's good I'm dominating the space a wee bit better. So, I mean, really, homosexuality, homosexuality. As a kid, I've not actually looked at it. I've not actually looked at it closely, so I don't know what I'm talking about, to be brutally honest with you. I've not looked at the new allegations, the new. Howdy, Davey. Hope you're keeping well, my friend. Thanks, Richard. How you doing, buddy? I'll come on to what happened down at the conference before. But, yeah, I mean, how incompetent. Criticising people who rioted against the murder of these 3 children, yet not actually saying anything about the 3 murdered children. They can't say it because it goes against their global narrative. Can't say anything about it. Can't say, oh no, that was terrible. Somebody that we've imported through our open door globalist ideology has murdered children. Oh no, it's far right. What far right? I'm not surprised they rioted. I'm surprised it's taken them this long to riot. The Islamo-communists down there, and then Pakistanis jumping about with 6-foot hatchets and battering English people. And supported by the scum in the Labour Party. I mean, you couldn't write it. You couldn't actually write it. And then I'm getting locked up for tweets. Tweets, well, what goes around comes around, my friends. So you better watch what you wish for. So, but then he's getting bribed off by another Pakistani Muslim gay, apparently, MP, where his son has to go to live in another house so he doesn't get interfered with during his SE A levels or whatever the equivalent is down there. Livingston says hi from Cayman Islands. Hi Ian, how you doing, buddy? Say both he and you 17 billion COVID business relief are in it. I'm not surprised. I can't wait to go to Cayman Islands. So, yeah, and he's getting some gay guy is apparently having bum fun with Keir Starmer. Hiya peeps, how you doing? So the fact is that we've got the gay, the first covertly gay for Prime Minister. Oh, hi there. I told you he was a lispy prick. I told you before we actually started this whole charade of getting some twat from the Labour Party back in power. That he was going to be as big a disaster as any of the parties in here. any of the left-wing parties. Now, come on to Craig Houston and David Coulter joining SDP in a minute. I'm going to break this up into various sections. But, hi there, my name's Sir Keir Starmer. Who didn't see that one coming? Oh, this Asian fella's given me his house for the weekend. The P. Diddy of British politics, now under investigation. The Lord, hopefully not another paedophile, well, maybe not a paedophile if he's gay. So I don't know if you've got to be paedophilic or gay to actually get in the House of Lords, or if it just helps, a bit like the BBC. So, my name's Keir Starmer. Let's take some stuff. Let's go into him taking stuff. Now, I would have said that that's a bribe. Some third party paying for shit that isn't there for favours for me is a bribe. And it appears that all of the Labour MPs are in on it, or certainly the Labour cabinet. So which probably explains why the economy isn't going very well if they're all bought off. But like the Conservatives, wee Nippy has police destroy all records of her visit to Judy Murray. You've been watching too much of the Guerilla TV channel. So, my bottom's a bit sport. I think he's been sponsored by, what's that for the hemorrhoids? Oh, my bottom. Oh. So he's now getting bought off. He's now bought off with Anusol Sarwar. He's now getting bought off by people other Pakistanis who, in Pakistan, is a corrupt system, corrupt democratic system. We've already seen Corbyn getting Pakistanis to go around and basically harvest other Pakistanis to corrupt the political process, who have already been found guilty in a court of law. But yet allowed back in the actual count. I would have said that was a barring issue. If you've corrupted the political process, I would say that was a barring issue from any political party or stance. But oh no, hi there. Keir Starmer, that's super. Let's just criticise the Conservatives for taking bribes, and we'll just take them instead. Oh, right, okay, well, that's definitely highly moral. Highly moral. After presenting us with this sort of moral superiority, oh yeah, we'll not do the same shit the Conservatives did. Obviously, quite clearly, not telling the truth as usual. Even about his sexuality, apparently. And apparently Keir was bummed by Jimmy Savile. So, he might well have been. He certainly helped Jimmy Savile, didn't he? To make sure he didn't go to jail. It was quite funny how all these paedophilic and abusive individuals are hanging about with certain other individuals, the globalists, shall we say, and some of our royal family who may well be compromised, and that's why they're following the globalist manifesto. Whether the royal family still has some political power, although it shouldn't be talking about politics, but that the corruption of that by these entities. We are the Diddy men. I always keep thinking about breasts every time somebody's saying the word Diddy on the interzones, as we'll call it. So, what's going on? So we've got a whole bunch of, obviously quite clearly, perverts running the show, compromised perverts for the globalists in the UK, which probably explains a lot why our policy is being compromised and we're not actually getting proper policy through. Whether they get compromised through sexual stuff or compromised through bribery and Lord Vaseline or whatever he is, sprinkling up Keir Starmer's anus. Anus. So we've got all these sort of things going on. So let's be honest, he's a very duplicitous man. Not only the fact now that the absolute twat, and I told you before you voted for him. Now I've said to you before that he was a twat, don't vote for him. No, screw you, Dave, we're going to vote for the Labour Party. And what have we got? We've got the worst 100 days of any Prime Minister. And now we've got the absolute bell end. Now giving away parts of overseas territories to Mauritius, who it was never a part of Mauritius. It's 1,300 miles away from Mauritius. It's a security threat, or it was a security base. They've lobbied the UN, and Poofy Keir Starmer, the traitor to the UK, bumboy Starmer, has now given it away to Mauritius. What it's got to do with Mauritius, I don't know. So, I mean, really, you couldn't actually write it. Allegedly, all allegedly so far, but not actually given any say-so to the Parliament for giving away parts of the UK. So we can't have a second referendum, but the Mauritian, or that atoll has now just been given to Mauritius, and we've got to then pay for the privilege of being in Mauritius. And the islands that we've occupied, apparently they were unoccupied. So there was nobody there before the British turned up. But because the left are generally just treasonous to the UK, they're just traitors to the UK. It's endemic to their actual ideologies. We've now got the state of Keir Starmer being absolutely shit. There's the in Blackpool Reform beating them and getting a council seat. So Reform from the standing store is beating the Conservatives and the Labour Party, which I'll come on to in a minute. So I told you before not to vote Labour. I said to Craig Houston, do not vote Labour, even in the way of trying to get the SNP out, as if that's a change. It's not a political change. The SNP to Labour, the doughballs in the Labour Party have voted for 80% of the policies that have come through by the SNP. Once you take out the unionist versus nationalist, but independent, shall we say, dichotomy, and boil it down to the actual the diabolic policies that these two twatty parties have got, they're both left-wing parties. That's it. The problem is not the unionist versus the nationalist thing. The problem is left-wing politics in Scotland. That's a problem. And speaking from somebody who comes from the working class, I know, I understand more than most. So, Vaseline boy who's getting bribed in Animal Farm, exactly, of course it's Animal Farm. Vaseline boy who's getting alongside Anus in here and taking bribes. Has only got days to go. His tenure is nearly going to be as short as Liz Truss. It's nearly going to be as short as Liz Truss. He is fucked. And that's me saying it in the most direct terms. I actually was going to do this a number of weeks ago when the riots had been going on, saying that he was finished as well. All of the elections are going against him. All of the by-elections. the next year's council elections in England and potentially in here as well, it's going to be a bloodbath for Labour. Anus was rubbing his hands thinking he was going to become the next First Minister. The only thing Anus is going to get is anusol. That's the only thing Anus is going to get. And he's screwed as well. All owned by the WF and Klaus Schwab, that's exactly correct, mate. All owned, including the nationalist parties. Anytime you hear the word progressive, think communist, think WF owned shill parties. So, Anus ain't going to become First Minister. There's a wee quip. Anus is going to get pumped. It's going to be easy. And not only that, I'll come on to talk about Craig Houston and David Coulter in a minute. Coulter, who's the Silver Fox, I used to call him. David Coulter in a minute, and the Scottish and the SDP, the Social Democratic Party. But we've now got going to have people who are going to out-debate. They're going to out-debate Anus in the commie Islamo-Gimpy Labour Party in Scotland and the left generally. Although I'll come on to why David and Craig are just joining another left-wing party. But anyway, that's him finished. He's absolutely finished. Keir Starmer will not be here in the next month. For the bribery, for the corruption, for all the lies, he's the biggest bullshitter out. And he's almost sociopathic. He sits there like a robot. No, I don't believe that taking bribes should be wrong. It's only wrong when the Conservatives do it. He's like an automaton. And obviously, I don't know who his wife's. I don't know. Obviously, they must be living in separate homes. I don't know what's going on there. Is that like a P. Diddy wife? Is that just a wife for show? Yes, a wife for show. Come on, boys, round the back. Is that what it is? I mean, now, it concerns me all these, unless the women are bisexual as well. It could be bisexual women marrying bisexual men. But, I mean, all these bisexual, definitely bisexual men, including the part allegedly P. Diddy, all going round the back getting a length or giving a length, whatever. Whoever, I was calling Meek Mill's the daddy, so I'm not sure who's the daddy in that scenario. But, and there's obviously a problem with homosexuality in jails as well. Gay rape is a big problem in prisons, which may not be a problem if you're gay and you're into that sort of thing, like allegedly like P. Diddy. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know if you're actually being that way. And not to mention, definitely some of the other celebrities look like they've been victimised. Hamas McYusuf Tartan, aye. Hamas useless Tartan. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So he keeps thinking he knows about Scotland. The Celts and all that are from the Scotai. So that's the Irish invading Dalriada mob. So they were all from, they're Irish. Now, I'd wear a kilt as well, though I'm probably a Brythonic lowlander. Not to mention the Pictish Brythonics, who are probably Brythonic as well. There's lots of mythical stories about the Picts, but they're probably just a Brythonic tribe. That's the most logical thing. And obviously, there's been a lot of interaction with Ireland anyway. The Britons, not the British, the Britons, and the Celts and the Irish are both Celtic anyway. Different P. But this should not be called, this is Northern Britain or Caledonia. The Celts, so the fact that he's supporting Ireland just shows you how fucking stupid he is, doesn't he? Make useless, Hamas useless. But having said that, I would wear a kilt, and the Scots, like the English and the Vikings, have contributed greatly to what people would understand is now called Scotland, the land of the Irish tribe, and not the Brythonic inhabitants. William Wallace was more likely a Briton. Don't forget, Welsh is English, German for foreign, but obviously the Welsh weren't the foreign ones or the actual original Britons. So Arthur, the King of the Britons, the Britons are Celts, like our Irish brothers and sisters. So they're Britons. So that's part of the interesting thing. So there's not an ethnic difference. Obviously, different split in the Celtic tribe from the British, who would have been the whole of the UK, and some English people that are actually Britons, and also are part Britons. And also, obviously, in Scotland, in Strathclyde, Old Clute, which was part of Strathclyde, South Strathclyde, went all the way down to Cumbria. and they were speaking a Brythonic tongue. Common Brythonic is the indigenous British language. So, back to Keir Starmer. So Keir Starmer is now, oh, hi there. We're sponsored by Vaseline now. And he's absolutely screwed. It was Queen Victoria that popularised the tartan, yeah. I like that. Listen, mate, I love kilts and things like that. I'm not anti. It's very important I say I'm not anti-Scottish. I'm not anti people who are actually Scottish. There are people who are Scottish here. I may be Scottish myself. Ballantyne comes from the Celtic god Bal, in Tain meaning fire. Now, I don't know if Tain is from the Irish P or the Q Celtic languages. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I've at some point. But we Ballantynes have been here for centuries. Let's not kid on. And not very much is talked about the Britons of Strathclyde. But William Wallace was probably a Brythonic. He was probably a Briton. Like Wallace comes from Wallis, Wallis, which is again from the Germans, foreign. This place we're in here, Edinburgh, is Godobin. And that's the original name. I don't know why it's called Edinburgh, but the original name of this, the Celtic name before it was invaded by the Northumbrians, was Godobin. So there was already Celts here, there was already Brythonic Celts here in this area before, obviously, the German invasions. Where does Yusuf come from? I think Pakistan, mate. Pakistan. Worryingly, but we have to start talking about what it says in the Quran and start teasing out exactly what these people, because these people are swearing on a religious book that the rest of the retards and the SNP and the Labour Party are just saying, oh, that's good though, diversity. Oh. And I don't think one of them have read it. And if they had read it, then they're an issue. But let's get back to Keir Starmer. So I think he's fucked. So how's it going to go for him? He like Boris Johnson still had a majority, and he's got quite a large majority of people who are feel responsible to him for getting their parliamentary places, right? So they feel responsible for him actually in Parliament, or for getting them into Parliament. But I don't know if they're going to be able to shift him because he's probably got a larger majority than Boris had. But because of all the scandal that's come out, I don't know whether he can ride it out or whether the pressure for him to actually by his own cabinet to remove him will actually come, and whether he's going to start being approached like Boris was to actually be removed. Because he can't stay. I mean, he literally can't stay with all this absolutely filthy scandal. He should never have been in the position to start off with. And some people were saying to me, or saying generally, not just to me, but saying generally, that Keir Starmer wasn't going to last once he came in to power. He wasn't going to last. He wasn't going to see it out the first year. And I thought he shouldn't have got in because he was going to be problems. But I didn't think he wasn't going to last. I thought once he's in, then he's going to be in. But now I think they were right. Once he was in, I knew he was finished right away. I actually was going to do a podcast on why he was finished a number of weeks ago. But now he's definitely fucked. He's definitely, that's him. He's finished. That's him. It's a matter of weeks now till he goes. The pressure is going to be kept on by the public, by the media, and it's just going to continually get him, and there's going to be more and more things that come out about him, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse for Keir Starmer, and it's going to be more embarrassing for Enos up here. Enos Sarwar is going to take him and Keir Starmer, the granny killers, for taking away the fuel allowance, which was then reversed when by the Labour conference. So the granny killers want to kill old people up here, and the granny killers of the Labour Party are just trying to kill people with the fumes. So don't forget, they're trying to bring in these heat pumps that don't heat the place properly, spend 40 odd 2 million or 46 million on it, which could be spent. And that's just in Scotland, and that's not the right political solution either. Which could be spent on other things in Scotland, where if they start to reduce the carbon output in Scotland and Scotland gets colder, more people die of the cold than they die of the heat. So they're going to kill more people by your stupid heat pumps, by the stupid Green Party, and by reducing temperature if CO2 is increasing it. Why would we want to reduce temperature in Scotland when it's already freezing? Okay, so there's other places in. Is Anil Sarwar a fan of Pol Pot? It probably is. He doesn't have to. He could pick any one of the Muslim leaders who've murdered 240 million people. He doesn't have to look to communists as well. But the fact that I was in Glasgow seeing a demonstration that was part communist, part Muslim or Islamic, it was just absolutely disgusting. Two largest mass murdering ideologies in history. So, and Anus is on the left of that as well. So, let's not kid on that these people are not the worst of the worst. The other people were saying the guys are holding the Union Jacks and the British flags were the bad guys, and they were fascist Nazis and not everything else. But the communist globalist Islamo part was wanting open borders. So it was people who were wanted to have immigration but have a limited immigration versus the open border exponents who just want to destroy, which is a form of ethnic cleansing, which is illegal under international law. If you're bringing in enough people to ethnically cleanse the indigenous population, that's against international law, and politicians could go to jail for it. I don't think they understand that's a form of genocide. It's a form of genocide. And a big shout out to all the people in the Sunbelt states who are apparently, after Kamala letting millions and millions of people in, she's now allowing these people to die. Obviously, our dad was a communist as well, and she's not got any African descent in her. In fact, they had thousands of slaves in the Caribbean. So they just updated the Genocide Act 1949 UK, have they? Well, probably stop it being the same. So it's illegal what they're doing. The open borders is illegal. It's illegal what they're doing. So Keir Starmer is a scumbag, and I think we already know that. So Keir Starmer's taking bribes. I think he's allegedly had a gay affair. I believe there's a super injunction. Yeah, we give a shit about that. A gay affair with somebody. There's some. I didn't quite catch it, but there was apparently some problem with his children as well. If his children was his, if he was a gay man pretending to be in a marriage. And a lavender marriage, a bit like wee nippy. I don't know if it's a prerequisite in these political organisations. You have to have lavender marriages and kid on and be an underlying psychopath. I don't know if that's actually what it requires. Do you have to pretend? Nobody really cares about homosexuality. The problem with homosexual, nobody wants to be forced to be homosexual. Nobody wants to be homosexualised. And from a policy and a societal point of view, being a homosexual isn't much use to our society as a whole, because we've got a declining population as it is. Increasing homosexuality, making it looking cool and fun, ain't going to increase the birth rate. And then to only have the thing of repopulation by the use of mass immigration is Hamas has someone else to come in and service his wife. Hamza. It's not Hamza, I'm talking about Keir Starmer. It's Keir Starmer I'm talking about, it's not Humza. So, yeah. So it's getting worse and worse, and he's trying to justify his bribery. I've just got these Arsenal director seats. He's a multi-millionaire. He's worth about 10 million quid. And he's got hundreds of thousands of pounds coming in for his salary. And he's taking bribes. He's taking bribes. The leader of the workers in the UK is taking bribes and is compromised. It's worse than the cake story with Boris. It's much worse. Much worse. This is an infinitely morally worse situation for him to be on than anything that Bojo did with his WEF. Oh, we've all got to stay in their house for 2 years and destroy the economy story. So he's out, he's finished, done, kaput, absolutely. Nanti, he is not going to Keir has a criminal record in the Czech Republic. He was arrested as a Russian spy. Well, I told you, everybody thinks he's a communist. We've let a communist, a compromised communist, take over the UK. A compromised communist. Go and look up Christopher Hitchens, Peter Hitchens. What Peter Hitchens said, nobody was paying attention. The voters are not paying attention to this. We've got a compromised communist in charge of the UK who's taking bribes and giving away territorial overseas possessions for the UK, just like all scum commies would do. So that's it. That's where we're standing. Keir Starmer, and you know I always get it correct, he's got weeks to go now. Weeks. That he's putting people in jail, giving away British overseas territorial possessions. He's compromised his homosexuality, his communism, everything. Killing grannies with his granny killer policy. Absolute filthy scumbag, and I told you not to vote for the Labour Party before. Do not vote Labour. Same up here, don't vote for the left. The problem up here is the left wing, not anything else. The problem is the left wing. My baby Guerillas, he's got weeks to go. Weeks, he's finished. He might this overseas possession because it's against British strategic worldwide interest to give up this and then lease it back. I mean, how stupid can you get? Oh yeah, we'll give Mauritius the islands back, who it was nothing to do with them in the first place, and we'll then rent it off them. Aye, right. Finished. Should never vote for a communist.